Hello, hello. Hello. Welcome. How are y'all? Good. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Aaron Keith. I'll be leading the seminar tonight. And first of all, thank you for being here. I know you all have a very busy life and probably a busy schedule. So thank you for working things out to be here tonight. Now I want to get a sense of who's in the room. So how many of you have been to one of the seminars before? Wow, awesome. Well, welcome back. It's great to see you all again. How many of you is your first time? All right. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate you making it. I know you all have a lot to contend with, so thanks for making it. So before we get into the content tonight, I want to explain a little bit about why these seminars exist, what we're doing here, all that fun stuff, okay? So first and foremost, these seminars got created for me. I love working with business owners on how to grow and expand their businesses. It's one of my favorite things I can talk about. And this really gives me a format in which to do that. So really thank you for allowing me to do what I love to do. Next, I think it's really important, I mean really important, that business owners work on their businesses. Yes? Yes, we need to work on our business. We all get sucked into our business, don't we? Yeah, we get wrapped up in our clients and making people happy in the finances and the business. And we usually don't make time to actually step back and actually work on our business. So I wanted us to have a structure. This is the structure. I want to have a monthly meeting where people come and we brainstorm and we work on our business and we focus on a particular topic. That's what this is about. And I want to do it in a setting like this. So I think it's, again, critical that business owners, we're meeting other business owners. We can't do this alone. None of us can. So this gives us a format to meet other business owners, to brainstorm, idea share our resources, whether that's referring clients, whether it's referring contacts. That's what this is all about. Does that make sense? Awesome. So with that in mind, let's get to work. Who would like to read the intention that we're about to fulfill on tonight? Any brave soul? I will pick on someone. Anita, thank you for raising your hand.
That you understand how to be more organized, efficient, and productive through improving your relationship to scheduling and task management.
Thank you. I'm going to have you read it one more time. The first time kind of just hits us, right? The second time we kind of absorb it. So one more time, please.
The intention of the evening is that you understand how to be more organized, efficient, and productive through improving your relationship to scheduling and task management.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what do you all hear inside that intention? Yeah.
I need to work on my relationship.
You need to work on your relationship. Okay, good. What else?
I need to understand a system that's going to work for me. I need to figure that out.
Yeah, there's a system to it. There really is. And it needs to work. You want to get tired of it not working. You all tired of your scheduling system not working for you? No, really, because when you're tired of something not working, you actually do something to make it work, right? Or you just keep putting up with. So what else do you hear?
Maybe the reason that you're disorganized and inefficient is because of your lack of a schedule.
Yeah, well, a lot of times the lack of the scheduling causes the disorganization, the chaos. Yeah, probably. It's probably why we're talking about this. Yeah, good. So tonight we're talking about scheduling, right? So let's start defining what that is. What is a schedule? What is a schedule? Something you hate. We will get to that. They're not laughing because that was funny. They're laughing for recognition that they think the same thing you do. We'll actually address that. Don't worry. That's coming. But what's a schedule? Yeah?
It's a series of tasks that hopefully eventually lead to a goal.
A series of tasks that hopefully will lead to a goal. Well said. Yeah?
I think a schedule is a format for time and space.
It's a format for time and space. Okay, good. Well said. So consider your schedule as a system. It's a system. If we take everything that you're all saying, we other than we hate our schedule, we'll leave that one out. But what these two ladies said, if you sit with it long enough, your schedule is a system. So if we just use it tonight, so now we have a scheduling system. We went from schedule to scheduling system. So now we have a scheduling system. Let's define more about that. So what's a system? There's no wrong answers. What you got?
It's a discipline.
It's a discipline. Okay, good. What else?
Structure.
It's a structure.
A way of doing something.
It's a way of doing something.
Step-by-step, methodical process that ultimately results in some consistency.
It's a step-by-step process that ultimately results in some consistency.
Sometimes. That's true.
It's important to, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes. So let's define it. So here's what a system is. A system is a repeatable process that produces a predictable and consistent outcome. Let me read that again. Yep. Okay. A system is a repeatable process that produces a predictable and consistent outcome. When you have a schedule, when you have a system in place, there's consistency. When you have breakdowns, it's because either A, the system is insufficient and it's breaking down, or B, there's no system in place. So let's define what a system is not. A system is not a process that is governed by or influenced by your feelings. It's not something that gets ongoingly altered or changed. It does not fluctuate. I will read that again. A system is not a process that is governed by or influenced by your feelings. It is not something that gets ongoingly altered or changed. It does not fluctuate. How y'all doing? There's a lack of a system in your life, yes? It's interesting because a lot of you use your feelings. So here's the deal. So, I'm like, honestly, raise your hand for this. So, raise your hand if you want more money. Okay, good. Keep them up. Do you want more free time? Awesome. Do you want to travel more? More fun? Yeah. Then you want a schedule. Your schedule is at the source of those things happening. Your schedule is the source of those things happening. People who have really, really effective lives are really good at this conversation. So people who are up to something in life, you want to have a thriving business, you want to have a thriving personal life, you want your whole life to thrive. What's at the foundation of that is being really good at scheduling. Do you get that? Mm-hmm. So we want to use that as our fuel tonight. Stay present to that because this conversation can get a little confronting. Yeah? Scheduling can be a little confronting at times. All right, so let's do this. No problem. Just water. Capacity. I always use a glass of water for my capacity stuff, so inside joke if you weren't here for that. So let's do this. We need to talk about the mental game and physical game. Okay, so tonight we're going to be dealing with both. And almost every conversation we have here, we're dealing with mental game and physical game. Okay, takes both. Without the mental game firmly in place, the physical game never quite works correctly. Make sense? So we need to hit the mental game first, and then we're going to hit the physical second. So let's start. She kind of already started this conversation, so we'll let Lauren take it from here. So be honest. How do you really feel about your scheduling system? Do you want to tell us how you really feel about your scheduling system?
I don't know if you want me to really.
I want the honest truth.
It drives me nuts. It makes me anxious, and I don't follow it by the end of the week because I hate it.
Got it. Mm-hmm. That's what I want. I want the truth. So how do you really relate to your scheduling system?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great.
I use it every morning, write it down, do what I'm doing, check the things off as I do, and it's an instantaneous reward. I mean, I love it.
That's great. Love it.
It needs improvement.
Oh, it's fine. That's great. I love that you love it. Yeah. What else? How do you relate to yours?
I think some of it is personality based, and I'm the polar opposite of that. And I have a tendency to be more scattered and spontaneous, and like I'll start working on something, and then something comes up, and boom, I'm gone, and I do that, and then I remember this, and then I remember that, and Yeah, so there's no focus.
Gotcha. So you write your schedule like there's no focus to it.
Right, and that's kind of my personality problem, I guess.
Interesting. We'll get to that. How else do you relate to your schedule? Yeah.
Business-wise, I think I relate well to the schedule. Personally, there's challenges simply because, my wife schedules things that I don't necessarily know about, so we're not on the same scheduling system.
So you have two schedules. One you just don't know about.
Tonight, I gotta be home by 8. I gotta leave here early because I didn't know that it was her girls' night, and she didn't know that I had this on the calendar. So that personal scheduling system.
Couples counseling?
Yeah.
That's a couple more months. We'll do the couples version of finance and scheduling. We have boxing gloves. It's awesome. Great. Can you get the world of his schedule?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Any of you kind of relate to that a little bit? All right. What else? How else do you relate to your schedule? Yeah.
I identify with Lauren a lot before actually bringing a lot more space to my schedule. So I used to feel like I was being drowned by my schedule, and then I took a day off during the week, and now I have wide open space for a part of my week, and now I can be way more structured the rest of the week. So
It's great.
I actually like my schedule now versus feeling like I was being drowned by it.
Mm-hmm.
So you keep one day of your schedule that is just open?
Pretty much until like 1 p.m. of that day. Like I can get up early and just kind of flutter around and do whatever I want. And I had to have that. That was like sanity for me. Now
That's great.
I'm totally cool with my schedule.
Yeah, so you'll start to see tonight what's going to make your schedule work. Can you hear a lot of you don't love your schedule? Yeah, it's a really big part. So once we get to the mental side, we'll get a little bit more in the physical, and then I'll start to address that. So let's look at another piece of the mental game. So the first area we're going to work on, feelings. Your feelings. And you heard a little bit about feelings in the description of what a system is not. So here's a question. How many of you relate to your scheduling system as more of a guideline for your day rather than the rule? Show of hands? Yeah, it's more of a guideline, right? Yeah. Doesn't work. So your scheduling system is not a good idea of what you should do today. Your scheduling system is the boss. How?
You say that before.
Yeah, it really is the boss. How many of you, me and Pablo were talking about this when he came in tonight, how many of you started your business so you can have freedom? Okay. How's that working out for you? Right? Bearer of bad news. But let's look. Let's look at it from a job perspective, because a lot of us started a business because we left a job. So most of us had a job before. So when you have a job, the boss tells you when to show up, tells you when to leave, and tells you to be productive during that time span, right? So when you have a business, here's how it looks. Your schedule tells you when to show up, tells you when to leave, and tells you to be productive during the day. There's no difference. The boss, when you're a business owner, is your schedule. Your schedule's the boss. You're the employee to your schedule. How do you feel about that? Most of you are rebellions. It's why you got fired from that job and started your own business. It wasn't because you were the star employee. They're laughing because they know it's true, right? What happened to me? My business teacher said, if you're a bad employee, you should start your own business. I'm like, got it, done. So think about that for a second. Your schedule is the boss. So you got to start designing your schedule such that you can get everything you need done. So let's talk about feelings some more. She was mentioning this. Some of you were mentioning this. What are some of the feelings that come up around your schedule? Yeah.
If I don't complete what's on my schedule, I'm setting myself up to fail.
Don't complete what's on my schedule. I'm setting myself up to fail. Okay, good. Yeah. What are some other ones?
I get overwhelmed because I feel like I have way too many things to even fit into a schedule.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's not fitting in? Too much to do? How many of you have too much to do in your calendars? Interesting. Okay. So how many of you allow your emotions to dictate what you do or what you don't do during your day? Yeah. Uh-huh. So your emotions have no part in this. No part in this. If you will let your emotions dictate what you do, you have an emotional system, not a scheduling system. There's no emotion in scheduling. There's no emotion in it. Because then your emotions will dictate. Because your emotions are never going to turn off, yes? They usually don't, right? So let's look at this. For example, I used this last year, and it's very applicable. So I used to go to the gym in the morning. And I'd wake up in the morning. It was dark outside, cold, and I'd go back to bed. I'll get up. I start to make my shake. I don't want to do this. Drink my shake. Get in the car, drive. I just want to go home and go to sleep. Put the headphones in, get on the treadmill. This is kind of fun. I'm feeling good. Glad I came. Where was that voice earlier? I have the same emotions you do. I just take them with me. How many of you love to do your finances? That's the most amount of hands I've seen in a really long time, actually. Yeah, so I don't love doing mine either. It's not the most favorite thing in my world. But my schedule says sit down to your finances. I sit down and do that. My mind says, oh, you should go eat dinner and take a break. And I keep entering. We should check Facebook. Keep entering. I have the same thoughts and feelings. There's nothing different. I just don't honor my feelings. Does that make sense? So what do you see about that so far? What are you seeing in this conversation? Doesn't it? He said it takes discipline. Yeah, Randy.
I like my feelings and my thoughts.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, your feelings, your thoughts, your opinions, they're awesome. They may not get you to where you want to be, though. Yeah?
The feelings and thoughts are always going to be there, but we really have to work at being and staying focused.
You do. So here's one of the things that I like that kind of drills this home. So there's a statistic out there, I don't know if it's changed over the last many years, but when I last looked at it, it was roughly about 95% of the money in the world is made by about 5% of the people in the world. Give or take a little bit of accuracy, it still brings something home, doesn't it? Why do you think that is? It's not that they're uberly gifted at something. Maybe a couple of them are. Because most people aren't willing to do the work. There's a discipline to that. There's an integrity to that. There's a relationship to, I gave my word to do that, and I'm going to do that. Does that make sense? So to have an effective life, a lot of tonight's about being effective, right? More organized, more effective, more productive. To be more effective, organized, productive, takes discipline, yes? Your emotions, your feelings may not have any interest in that. They may want the path of least resistance. Having the path of least resistance will put us all on the couch eating bonbons. It won't get us to what we said we wanted. You get that? So here's where it gets confronting. Look at your goals. Whether they're written down, whether they're just in your head. We all have things we're clear we want to get or to obtain or a place we want to arrive. It's going to take discipline, integrity, and a strong relationship to our word to get us there. Agreed? Yeah. Your schedule is the structure that holds all that in a box. You guys should see your faces right now. It looks like this. No, really. But remind yourself there's freedom in this conversation. Remember at the beginning of the night, we started talking about more money, right? More customers, more travel, more free time, more fun, more happiness. Comes out of a schedule. So when you start to relate to your calendar as it's the boss, and you do what it says to do, what I'm saying is the net result will be more fun, more balance, more free time, more customers, more money. Yeah. So what do you see about that?
I think that if that stays the focus, then it's easier to stick to the schedule.
Yep.
Keep that clear, that that's what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
The schedule becomes just this access point.
It does. Yeah, it really does. So before we move on, any questions on what we just covered around the feelings? Really? Yes. I knew we had.
Okay, so you say that whether you go into the gym or doing your finances, you're basically confronted by what we're holding inside and not speaking up to, saying, yeah, that's great, but whatever, we make an excuse of why you can get up and go to the gym. So what would be a way, short of having your big why or your goal in front of you daily, what would be a way that a room full of people like this, who obviously love the idea of the outcome,
Yep.
but maybe are a little reluctant along the way to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we get that without having to get a shirt thing?
Yeah. So some of it we're going to cover, so I don't want to give away.
Okay.
We're going to do some of the work on that. We're actually going to work on your calendar tonight. You have handouts in front of you. Don't look at them. We'll get to them.
Okay.
But a lot of it is having a calendar you love.
Okay.
A lot of it's your relationship. How many of you actually love your calendar? Yeah, that's probably 10, 15% of the room. Yeah, a lot of it is the workability and your relationship to it, which we're going to change the relationship to your calendar.
Okay.
So keep looking at that. If that doesn't get transformed the next little bit, ask it again.
Thank you.
Please ask it again. So, oh, yeah,
I just have a question. Like,
nice and loud.
I'm trying to, because I talked to you, so I'm trying to set up a calendar with schedule.
Yep.
But it never seems, I got all this stuff on there, but it never really seems like I get it all done because in my business, my phone's ringing and I've got to answer because that's business.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, an hour goes by and I just lost that hour that I had scheduled for something else.
Mm-hmm. I got it. Well, that's gonna get very addressed. How many of you that sounds like you? Yeah, we're gonna get that addressed. So let's get through some of the mental, and we're gonna hammer down on that, because that's having a schedule that supports you. Your schedule doesn't support you. Do you get that? Yeah, it's just not supporting you. And a lot of you have calendars and schedules that just don't support you. And it's not workable anymore. Because check this out. If you want your business to double, right, and you want to be up here, you actually have to get better at scheduling and task management to get there. You guys realize that? How are you going to get up there if you can barely handle what you have now? So if you're having massive breakdown around your calendar and your task management here, how the heck are you going to double and survive?
No.
You are going to pull your hair out. You look like Steve. I love Steve. I know Steve. This is Randy's husband. Sorry, buddy. This is what you get for being late. So, does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you really want to get your business up, up, you have to expand your capacity around scheduling and task management. And just like I said, 5% of the people are making 95% of the money. Why? Because they're disciplined. I'm not saying this is going to be easy. That's not on the intention. That's not part of my promises. What I promised you is that it's going to be effective and it's going to work. It's going to support you and it's going to give you balance and fun. It's going to give you more money, more customers. It's not going to give you more ease that way. One of the side effects may be your life is easier, but doing it isn't necessarily easy until you build the muscle. Until it becomes a habit, which let's see if we can get into that one. So let's keep looking at the mindset. So another side I want to look at is consistency. So here's a question. How many of you have consistently the same schedule week after week after week? How many of you have the same schedule week after week after week? For the most part, yeah. For the most part, your schedule is pretty consistent week after week. Okay, great. How many of you love your calendars? Again, show of hands. I saw a correlation there. Anyone notice a correlation? Very similar hands went up. Okay. See, here's what's interesting about business owners. I've worked with over 2,000 business owners to date, and there's a similarity. A lot of you, you go through your day, and you're all busy, right? We're all busy. We have so much to do. And then somewhere in your day, like, oh my gosh, I forgot to do that thing, right? That thing. And then you try to jam it into your already busy, overworked day. And then you work more hours than you're supposed to. And it keeps happening every other day. By the end of the week, you're just like, huh? I'm done. Wine. Quick. Right? You're done. Does it sound like anyone's day? Yeah. Ye who hates their schedule. But that's happening for a reason. It's not repeating. Having a reoccurring calendar starts to solve this problem. It really does. So you want to write this down. You want your calendar to reoccur. Very important. You want your calendar to reoccur.
Will you clarify exactly what you mean by that?
Definitely. Thank you for asking. We want our calendars to repeat. So let's take finance. Everyone here, we all have the money we have, and we have to manage the money we have. So finance needs to happen. So if we know finance needs to happen, why don't we just calendar it? Hello? And then just hit the reoccur button, because we have to pay bills next month too, and probably the month after that, right? So why don't we just reoccur it? So if you have to go grocery shopping, right, like we all have to eat food, you know about how much food you normally buy, just schedule when you go grocery shopping.
Okay.
Yep.
So talking about integrity with our calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to do reoccurring grocery shopping. So I have Mondays off. So Monday at 2, I'm going to do my grocery shopping. But maybe next Monday I can't do it at 2. Maybe I have to do it at 11.
Why couldn't you do it too?
Because something else came up at 2.
Oh, something that she felt like doing got put into her calendar, and it bumped something that she gave her word to do.
Something outside source with my family or my business comes up, and all of a sudden you have to go at 11 or at 4 instead of at 2.
Sure. You can drag it and drop it. So you can take it in your calendar and move it up. And then whatever is supposed to be in the evening, you move around. Yeah, so there is some workability in your calendar. But for the most part, when you start to have, what happens when you reoccur things?
Habit.
Yeah. And what happens when something's a habit? It becomes easier. Doesn't it become easier? That's the point. A lot of your schedules occur to you as tough. It's beating you into submission. So when you start to reoccur things, there becomes a pattern to it. So part of what's also missing is, and granted, this conversation takes a while to master. You ain't going to walk out of here mastering calendaring, right? It takes some time. But it's the practice of that will get you mastered. So in your instance, if you start to play with that, like when you go to the grocery store, maybe you schedule it at 2 o'clock on, you said Mondays? Mondays, okay, we'll go with Mondays. So 2 o'clock on Mondays. So let's say she does it for a couple weeks. And she's like, you know what? I've had to move it almost every single Monday. It's not working for me. So I'm going to put it in the morning. My mornings are usually always good, morning. So you do it for a couple more weeks. Like, that's working for me. Done. Off the list. Okay, what's the next thing? Put it in, and you have to try this for a little bit and see what the workability is. You got to love it. If you don't love it, move it. Because if you don't love it, you're not going to do it. Correct? Remember, you're all stubborn human beings. If you don't love it, you ain't going to do it. So it needs to work for you. Does that make sense? Is there more of a question there?
Nope.
You got a serious face on, so I just want to make sure.
Nope.
Okay. Any questions on what I'm saying so far? Really? On reoccurring? You guys are good on that? Yeah, I knew we had one in here.
I feel like I'm talking a lot. So maybe I'm generalizing a bit, but I know as women we tend to be a little bit more ruled by our emotions and feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I could say that probably
Yep.
accurately. So how do you then address that as an aspect? Women ruled by our emotions.
So turn and say it one more time just so everyone hears it.
So as I'm generalizing, but I would say in general, women tend to be more ruled by emotions. And so how do you deal with that regarding this topic?
You just acknowledge it. What so is, I have a lot of feelings, and I give them a lot of weight, and a lot of times I take action on them. There may not be workability in that, though. It's a really good question. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, there's nothing we can do about biology. How you're wired is how you're wired. And the fact of the matter is, to have something workable is you have something scheduled. So the only way I can take how we're wired as human beings and apply it into the system is you have to love your system. Because if your feelings love what you're doing, they'll have you do it. So give us an example. What's something that you love to do?
I like to
No, love.
I love to wander around Whole Foods and just look at stuff.
Great.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, is that something you need calendared? Do you naturally find yourself at Whole Foods?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So here's my point. Because she loves it, it naturally happens. She's not like, I love Whole Foods and I haven't been in 2 months. Damn it. When you love something, you naturally put integrity to it. Did you know that? Yeah. So hypothetical, right? Hypothetical. How many of you would be late to your daughter's wedding? Raise your hand if you're late. Got it. So we have a couple people. Awesome. And what you generally notice is when something really matters to you, you have natural integrity to it. That's why most of them didn't raise their hand.
Well, some people will never have a daughter, so.
It's true. Nothing I can tell you about that one. But you can adopt one.
That's why she raised her hand.
That was me.
I don't think on her, you know.
One can show up at your door. You never know what happens. Just write down your address at the door before you leave. But does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, one of the only ways we can manage our emotions, and that's what we're going to do tonight, is actually design a schedule that you love. Because when you love it, you're not going to be contending with negative feelings. Hopefully, the opposite is going to happen, and your positive feelings start to pull for the integrity of your calendar. So you'll actually be given by wanting to follow your calendar because it feels good and it makes you happy. That's the best we can do with our feelings. Now, our feelings change, so that's not 100% of the time, but it definitely ups their percentage of effectiveness. Y'all following? All right, let me make sure I didn't miss anything in here. I want to put this in. This came up recently, actually. We're talking about reoccurring something, and I was working with a client who happens to be sitting right here, and it came up on the phone. I've actually never thought of this before. A lot of times we put stuff in our calendar. We just put it in where there's space, and then we just start to do it. We put it in, and it's working fine for me. It's whatever, and we're doing it. But that task interfaces with other staff or other people. It may not work for them. And you might be indifferent about it. So something I realize, and when you're really working with a bigger business, when you calendar something and it interfaces with someone else, like it actually impacts someone else in your team, you need to check with them and see, does it work for them too? So if it's not working for them too, there's a good chance the system is now going to break down. It's a matter of time. You all follow? Thanks, Anita. Okay, any questions on reoccurring? You guys having fun? Yeah. Let your face know. Let your face know. Okay, yeah.
What if, like you've got, what is it that where you're, like I am totally, like, need my email cleaned out all the time. So it takes up so much of my day to keep going back to email. What's that?
OCD?
OCD.
Yep. None of us know what that is in here. Don't worry about it.
So, that messes up schedule.
Needs to be calendared. Needs to be calendared. Everyone in here needs a calendar when they do email. Every single one of us. Your dingers, your reminders, your obsession with checking. Did I get an email? Did I get an email? Did I get an email? Needs to stop. It's a huge interruption. Huge interruption. It needs to be calendared. Okay? Phone calls, calendar. It's another thing for you. Phone calls and emails should be one big block of time. That probably happens several times throughout your day. Okay? So let's keep looking. How many of you have actually sat down and consciously designed the schedule from the standpoint of productivity, balance, effectiveness? It's really, how many of you actually sat down and actually designed your calendar for those things? How many of you have done that? Good. Yeah. and it needs to be updated from time to time. How many have not done that? Okay, how many of you are just not going to raise your hand?
What if we try?
Try, okay, we'll give you that. Try it. It's huge. If you don't love your calendar, you're not going to follow it. We already determined that, right? So we need to start designing your calendar to make you that way. Clear?
Yep.
All right, so let's get to it. Let me create my calendar first, so it give some context. So I'm scheduled from about 5:30 to 6 in the morning to 9, 10 o'clock at night. My entire day is scheduled. Whether it's eat dinner, whether it's go to the store, eat lunch, emails, phone calls, clients, meditate, my day is calendared. Pretty much every inch of my awake time is calendared. Does that seem a little much?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's what I usually get. I brought a printout last year and showed people. If you want me to email you the printout, I have it in PDF now. So if anyone wants to see it, I can email you what it looks like to have a really crazy schedule. So here's why it's not crazy. What are you laughing at over there? No, I want to hear it.
She asked me very inappropriate.
Oh, gotcha. Her face matches her sweater. Look at that.
She gave me a really good answer.
I'm sure she did. It was a sex question. I know these two. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So, it was, wasn't it?
Is that in your schedule?
Think about that. It could. Should we schedule it, honey? Okay. We'll schedule that. Can you?
I want to know. This is great, but is it this?
Yeah, this is my girlfriend.
So how do you guys reconcile if you're scheduled from 6 in the morning till 10 at night, and you're scheduled from 6 in the morning to 10 at night? Do these boats ever cross?
Yeah, here's the challenge. Like on the way here, and we talked about this over the week, like last weekend, we talked about this. And on the way here, I'm like, listen, I need to have integrity before I walk in the front of the room. And there's one thing right now that's out of integrity for me around my schedule, and that's there's certain things we need to have in place to have our relationship function. I need a hike. I need to be like by the water and hike. And it allows us the time to clear and just talk and reconcile whatever's there and just make sure we're connected and there's nothing in our space. And I like to do that in nature. It seems very healing and it's very neutral, right? So that's a requirement of mine and a requirement of hers as well. So it's been moved around a lot because our schedules have been nuts. So as a reconciliation, like, listen, that fell out of integrity. We need to put the integrity back into it. So we need to get it workable. We used to with a bunch of our friends. And with other people involved and there was friends, it started to change and now it wasn't what it used to be. So I'm like, listen, we can hang out with them after. They can hike with us after. We're going to do our time. We're going to do it before, and that's sacred. Right? So it morphed. Wasn't workable. We're going back to the original system. Right? So now we have date night scheduled. Date night happens. I need my quality time. Right? And what was the other thing? It was yoga. Saturday morning yoga is really important to me. It's the only time I can do yoga. It's the only time my yoga studio is really far from me. So it's the only time I can get down there. So we used to go Saturday mornings, and it was a great time for us to connect and work out together. It was just fun to work out with her. And it wasn't happening because our schedules were nuts. All of existence has been inconsistent. I'm like, listen, lacks integrity. I want to wake up, I want to grab coffee, I want to walk the bay, go do yoga, and then we'll go to the farmer's market. But she needs the farmer's market. She loves it. So I'm like, great, can we work this out? She's like, yes, there's enough room. So we go to yoga, then right to the farmer's market. Right? It's all workable. So here's the thing. Here's what I want you to hear. I know what I need. I designed my schedule. You guys get that? Can you hear that in my speaking? I designed every inch of my calendar. Because I did that for me and I know what I need, then I can go to my partner and see what she needs. And then we can start to reconcile our calendars. But it's a big boy conversation. Like you gotta it's like having a business meeting. Like, listen, honey, what's your life like? Okay, here's what mine's like. Let's compare notes and see if we can get these things on the same page and see if we can sync. And that's the conversation. It takes something. I mean, you and your man have a busy life. Do you have to do this kind of stuff? Yeah.
We have to match our schedules. We have to make sure that they're,
that there's a we have to match our schedules, we have to make sure that certain things are consistent, and sometimes it's, you know, it stays pretty standard now. In the very beginning of the relationship, we had to work it all out.
Yeah, you have to find your pattern that works for both. So it's very much like what he was talking about when he came in, like he has to leave at 8 because his wife and the calendars, is the first thing is master your own calendar. And then it's you have to have an appointment on your calendar, sit down with the Mr. or the Mrs. and sync. You do that, what you start to realize is your life and their life work really well. And there's less fighting, less bickering, because both parties are getting their needs met. It's a needs conversation. It really boils down to needs. Yeah?
And what I heard in what you said was that you said, I know what I need. And what's happening, I think, is that, first of all, you prioritize your need, knowing what's important. Then you design your schedule based on what you need.
Correct.
Based on what's important to you. That has to get identified first. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
That's exactly it. So it's perfect because where we're at in the seminar right now is designing your life. How you love your calendar, because that was the question we posed about 20 minutes ago, is we all need to love our calendar. So how do we do that? How we do that is we design our schedule that we absolutely love. It's a design, an absolute design from nothing. So instead of relating to it as scheduling, think of it as life by designing. Yeah?
So I guess designing a calendar, we're going to have to be good at saying no to things.
Yes, sir.
And how do we reconcile things that are not the easiest to say no to? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, what's an example?
All right, well, you know, talking to the wife and communicating about schedules, she told me that we have like a birthday party for our little 1-year-old son like every weekend in June. Like literally every weekend is a birthday party. And you know, do we both want to go to a birthday party every weekend?
Right.
You know, but then it's like the friends and respond, you know, feel obligated.
I got the world of it, man. It's
you know, and it's like, where's our time that we need? So should we be saying no? And
yeah. It comes down to what need. It comes down to needs. My lady is a social butterfly. She's in charge of her social calendar. She's the CEO of her social calendar. She has a lot of friends. She makes friends moment by moment. Next thing you know, we're scheduled for months. So me, I can be so content sitting by myself on the beach doing nothing with no interaction for months. Very content that way. We're different that way. I don't need as much interaction. So we have to reconcile. And she just now knows, listen, honey, I need this much like one-on-one time. I need my errand time with you and no one else. And once we figured out what we needed, she can fill all the other space. So you need to figure out what you need, just for your own needs. You need to figure out what you and your relationship needs. Then you can start saying yes or no. Because your 1-year-old ain't going to care. Yeah, Randy.
As a parent, so Matt, and just to address this,
Nice and loud.
what you need today may change, right? Like, so, you know, what a 1-year-old needs is very different than what a 6-year-old needs. And, you know, it's, you set your schedule, like, you know, and Aaron's trained me in this, you set your schedule and it does get looked at periodically. And there may be a amount of time that he has, like, you know, you do it once a year or twice a year, whatever that time frame is. But you do get to say no. Because when you don't say no, you get angry and resentful and pissed off. And those things show up. And people don't want you around when you're like that anyway.
Yep.
Right? But you will learn that balance as, you know, as Aaron said, when he used Mary's example of food shopping. You'll learn that as you practice it.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see what works and what doesn't.
Right. It's practice. Again, you're not going to master this calendaring stuff tonight. It's going to take practice and a commitment. But I want to keep bringing you back to the intention. for us to get you so you're organized, you're efficient, you're productive, we need to change your relationship to calendaring. Can you see that's happening right now? We're actually altering the relationship. And what you're starting to see is if you create a calendar you love, you'll most likely have some integrity around it, which is good. And for those of you who are dating or married, you can start to see this as a bigger conversation than you. So the takeaway at this stage is life by design. You got to design the calendar around the things in your life that are important to you. So listen up. This is very important what I'm about to say. If there's something important to you and you're like, man, I don't have enough of that. It's not happening enough. That's your fault. It's not calendared. If it's important to you, I should be able to flip through your calendar and see it. If I pull out someone's calendar and I'm flipping through and you say, oh, this is really important to me, and I'm like, I don't see it in here. It's not important to you. If it's important, you schedule it. Yeah?
What about it for schedule, like the date? You can't really schedule the date.
No, but you can be open to actually have something occur in the space. So, based on what I do, I coach a lot of businesses, right? So I've coached, like I said, a couple thousand companies. There's some of the women that I've met are so incredibly busy and scheduled, and they're single and they wonder why. How's a partner, right? How's a partner going to show up when there's no space? I got it. Here's your breakthrough. There's no difference between a partner. Some of you want more. How many of you want more customers? How many of you would want 50% more customers? Yeah. Most of you don't have the manageability in your calendar to accept that many people. It would throw you over the edge. Same conversation. There's no difference between making room for a partner to show up, making room for customers to show up. No difference. A lot of you have, like I did this, the capacity seminar, I think, last month? And we talked about vacations. Some of you haven't taken vacations in years because you don't schedule room for it. And your complaint is, I'm too busy. No, you're not. You didn't schedule for it. You get what you manage for. My teacher always told me, you get what you manage for. So it's okay if you're a little confronted. Yeah?
I just wanted to add that we have to manage, of course, our schedule and be more productive, but it doesn't matter how good we get at our schedule, because if we think in a linear perspective, we can have only a certain amount of hours to chase money a day. So all those people that you mentioned that 5% make 95% of money, they think in a non-linear perspective. So we have to also take this in a perspective when we schedule and thinking how to add more value and just add more value and solve problems.
Yeah.
And then we'll have more time for dating and fun stuff.
Exactly. And it comes out of your commitment. If you're committed to something, we can solve the problem to make that happen. So if you're working 80 hours a week and your complaint is, you don't have room for a partner, well, then your business model is wrong. We need to put in a structure to get your hours back down to normal so you have real capacity, start to scale your business. So you're correct, absolutely. But again, we can't go down that road too far. We'll be off on a whole other topic. But you guys getting the point so far? You've got to schedule it, and whatever you schedule, you want to love. We all clear there? All right, let's keep trucking. So let's talk about the physical game. So we've been doing a lot of mental. Let's get over to the physical. We're going to talk about something called your core schedule. Core schedule. What do y'all think the core schedule is? Sleep, shower, eat. What else?
Everything that repeats.
Everything that repeats? Yeah, pretty much. What's that? Yeah, the fundamental structure of your calendar. Yeah, daily routine. So we're going to start to work on that. Pull out the handout. It's a stapled one. I want to pull this out real quick. So we're going to do this in pieces. So for those of you who like to go ahead, don't do that. It's not going to make sense. The only column we're working on right now is the business, and your core tasks. Don't get into the other columns. We'll go over it in a minute. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down the items that make up your core schedule. Your core schedule is the foundational rocks, the main pieces of your day that you must have in your business. Must. Finances would clearly be a must. Marketing would definitely be a must. Y'all tracking? Any questions? Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes and just write down your core activities, your core tasks that your business must have. Anita, yes?
Weekly, month, daily?
I would do it based on your month. Month is ideal. There might be a few tasks that might be annually or quarterly, but most of your tasks will fall inside of a month. Any other questions?
What are some examples?
Sure. Finances would be one. Marketing. Absolutely. You tell me, what are some other core tasks?
Appointments, client interaction?
Wait, one more time?
Appointment, client interaction?
Appointment, client interaction. Yes, that'd be production. Perfect. Not yet. Don't fill in those other ones yet. Just list the tasks.
So we're putting what we are doing now or everything we want?
Should.
Should.
Should is going to encompass some of the things you are doing and some of the stuff you're supposed to do.
Should.
Don't should all over the place. You guys clear? All right, go to work. We give you a couple minutes. I'm going to help jog your memory now you've had a few minutes. So, one area to think about is management. Are there any managerial tasks that reoccur that you need down? Are there any administrative tasks that are critical that you need down? We covered financial. Marketing tasks, we talked about that. Sales. Yep, that's admin, administration. We have production, which is interacting with your customers. What is it? Yeah, if that's one for you, absolutely, write it down. Another one would be quality assurance, making sure that people are happy, everything's working the way it's supposed to work. What's that? Client follow-up, yeah. You can schedule that. That's production. Yep. All right, do you guys get a sense of this? Okay. Yeah, I know. Backside. Backside of the page. Yeah, we should make this longer next year.
Or should we have less to do?
No.
Does it lead to that? Somebody may could it be that?
Well, that's one of the things we're going to start to see. Some of you, your calendars are over-calendared. You have too much on your... That's what she's talking about. Some of you, and that's how you figure this out. We have to do it to figure it out, to actually get through it. Some of you might be over-calendared, over-committed. Hence the breakdowns you're experiencing, right? So then we have to look at solutions. So when I was doing this for myself, I was looking at this toward the end of last year, the beginning of this year. What I was looking at is all the things I had to do and how calendared I was. And it got to the point where it was literally overlapping. It was no longer workable. So I hired an assistant. As I looked at all the tasks, I'm like, okay, I don't need to do that one. I don't need to do that one. I definitely don't need to do that one. I don't even like Facebook. Gone. And next thing you know, I had no laughing for that. Really? That was funny. I got one laugh out of this whole group. Okay, so joking aside, you got to look at your calendar and start to see what can actually fit. Then you write down all the things that you don't actually need your skill set to do. You're an attorney. Filing a piece of paper, given your billable rate, is ridiculous, right? Not a good use of your time. So as business owners, there's a certain hourly rate that you generate. You know, attorneys are very known for having a set billable rate. All industries have one. You just maybe never figured yours out because you own the company. But everyone has an hourly rate. There's an hourly rate that you earn. So when you figure that out, some of those tasks may not be worth your hourly rate. It might be more cost effective to hire someone at $20 an hour to do that for you. That's a way of expanding yourself. So doing this exercise, you might realize you might need a personal assistant for 5 hours a week. Some of you might need a business assistant in the office for 5-10 hours a week. You'll start to see what you need. Make sense? Okay. So let's do the next part. Some of you have probably already started. So the next two columns are duration and frequency. So let's do the example that's sitting there, which is finance. So we all have to do finance, right? So duration of time, maybe an hour and a half. I spend about an hour and a half doing finances. Frequency is weekly. So I want you to go through this task by task and start writing down what the duration and what the frequency is. Any questions?
Or what it should be, right?
Yes, what it should be.
I do.
Yes, not what you're currently doing, but what it should be. Any questions on that? All right, go to it. Okay, what are you all starting to see so far out of doing this? What's starting to arise?
But I only do half of this stuff.
You only do half of it?
Yeah.
Got it. Miss, I love my schedule. Anita, what are you seeing?
If I don't put this in some kind of schedule, everything's going to fall through the cracks. I'm going to go crazy.
Which it already has been. I talk to you weekly. Yeah, Randy.
I'd actually think that it's not just a matter of having something be weekly, but it'll make a difference to actually have it on the same day each week.
That's the consistency. Yeah, because then it builds a habit. Yeah.
They bleed together a lot. You know, and they're not locked out well enough, and they'll bleed in, and then they're done,
Emotional.
They're done at 50% rather than all in.
Absolutely. Here's one of the really cool things. Check, really listen to this. Really take this in for a second, please. If something is calendared, and you see it, and you know it's there, and you're preparing to go do it, there's a certain amount of intentionality that's there. When you're more intentional, you're more effective. When your schedule is loosey-goosey, kind of emotional, that fluctuation has you be not as intentional, which diminishes your results. So when you do marketing and sales, just, you feel like doing it, so you do it, you're not nearly as intentional, letting you know, like, listen, tomorrow I have 3 hours blocked out. My sales goal says I need to close 4 deals. And I got 3 hours to get 4 deals done. That's on your mind. You're present to that. So when you come, you're like, all right, got 3 hours, got to crank this thing out. You're intentional. That intensity produces results, where the casualness won't. Not at that level, right? So again, you're all good business owners. You wouldn't be here. But I told you to get your business up, to really be way more organized, more efficient, more productive, it's this that's going to make the difference. This is what separates the good from the great. You following? All right, good. All right, so let's keep rolling. Let's do the personal. So flip the page. So here's how I want you to approach the personal side, okay? So eyeballs on me for just a quick second. A lot of this is, organized, efficient, productive, kind of in the business context, right? May not fit personal. So when you're looking at your personal, ask yourself, what do I need? What are the core, we're doing core, right? What are the core tasks that are going to make me balanced and that are going to make me happy? Core, that are going to make me balanced and happy. Come at it from that trajectory when you're doing this, okay? So same directions. Don't do the duration and all that yet. Just write down your core tasks. Any questions? Okay, go to it. Okay, so let's keep moving the conversation forward. Next thing is duration and frequency. So same directions as last time. Start going item by item. If you notice some more that aren't on a list, great, write them down. Let's start figuring out what's the frequency. What's the duration of this? So I want to hear, what are some of the areas that you all wrote down? And it could be business or personal. I want to hear. So what are some of the areas that you realized and you put down for either your business list or your personal list? Yeah?
Beach walk, 1 hour a week.
Beach walk, 1 hour a week. Awesome. You have one, you were smiling. Yes, you. Did you put one down?
I was thinking about something else.
Okay, okay.
I did so much on my first time, I had no time to work.
Done. You're retired. My schedule says I have to retire. I'm done. I love it. What are some other ones? What are some of the other things you all wrote down?
Walk the dog.
Walk the dog. Okay.
Read 1 hour nightly, volunteer 2 hours monthly.
Ooh, good. I like that. Did you guys catch that? Volunteer. Anyone else have volunteer down? It's a good one. What'd you put?
We have ladies' night once a week.
Ladies' night, once a week. Randy.
Cooking, 2 hours twice a week.
Cooking, 2 hours twice a week. Got it. What else?
Whole week? That's it. I don't cook one meal when I cook. I don't cook extra.
Time saving.
Massage, 2 hours once a week.
Massage.
Penny 1 hour once a week.
Yep. What you got? Calendar sleep. How many wrote down sleep? Good. Yeah.
It's a should.
How many forget eating? Yeah, a lot of business owners do. It's really common. A lot of business owners, when we do the balance seminar, it's one of the most common things that comes up. Y'all don't eat. Coffee instead. Okay, then we have sleep. So really, all of you should have calendaring sleep. You all know how much sleep you need. If you're going to function at a high level, you need sleep. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay, what else? Yeah.
Yard work,
Yard work. Got it. What's the frequency and duration?
5 hours a week.
5 hours a week. Love it. Yeah. Juicing. 20 minutes every day. Love it. You guys should steal that one. So that's one we're stealing. Yep. What else? Yeah.
Go to happy hour, 4 hours once a month.
4 hours once a month. Great.
Happy hours.
Happy hours. Lee, I was worried he's going to say daily. Then I was trying to worry, like, what am I going to say to that? Yeah.
Okay, so I want to be serious just for a minute.
Okay.
Things like taking a shower, brushing your teeth, and other things, I mean, are we seriously?
I just put getting ready.
Okay.
You can batch some things.
Okay.
You know what I realized you were
What's that?
saying earlier, that the things that really mean something to you, you do faithfully. Out of all these things, the one thing that's been
Hold
on
on.
my-
Shh. Hold on. Okay, a little louder so everyone can hear you.
Oh, I was just saying that when you said that the things that really matter to you, you'll do faithfully.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all these things, well, except for doctor appointments and stuff, the only thing that's always on my calendar, I do 4-hour bike ride 3 days a week, and it's always on my calendar, and I always do it.
Right. Because it matters to you.
Everything else, meh.
It's variable.
Yeah.
You relate to it like it's a good idea. See, here's what's happening. Again, even though we talked about it about 45 minutes ago, it's already left the room. You still are relating to your calendar like these things are a good idea. You can see it on your faces. You're still relating to these tasks like, that's a good idea, Aaron. We'll see what happens. No, you have to start to change your relationship to your calendar. That's what tonight's about. Okay? If you want your life to work the way you say you want your life to work, you got to transform your relationship to it. This becomes something you do. It gets calendared and you do it. Why? Because you said so. And if you do it, what will your experience of your life be? Amazing. It'll really work. You'll love it because you designed it. Hold on real quick. Here's the thing too. This is a life by design. You're consciously sitting down designing it. Most people have not sat down and consciously, I asked the question earlier, there's a few hands that went up. But there's a depth to this conversation we're looking for. So most people have never sat down and actually consciously designed the experiences of life that you said you wanted. And actually give it form and time. When you do that, your whole life works. When your life works, your capacity expands as a human being. You can handle more. Whether that's more friends, more fun, more money, whatever it is that's interesting to you. but you as a human being have the capacity for a lot more. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I'm going to say this. I think this is appropriate, so we'll see. I coach in a given week between 50 and 55 companies currently. So most business coaches work with between 8 to 12 statistically. 8 to 12, I'm 50 to 55. It's not that I'm a better coach than them. It's my calendar is so designed. My life works so well. I have the capacity to hold that much with integrity. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I'm not asking you to get better at your craft. And you can do that, and that will help. What I'm also telling you is by expanding your capacity in this domain, you'll actually notice a larger inflow into your life, including your business, including relationships or whatever is important to you. And if you question it, put it to the test. See for yourself. Definitely can't hurt yourself. Does that make sense? All right, let's keep rolling.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but what if it's really like, I'm just like, this really all doesn't fit in like the time of a week?
Yeah. You're going to need an assistant or something's going to have to go. No, seriously, I mean, look, there's only so much time in the day, right? There's only so much time. So you're going to have to look at what's on the plate and have to make some hard choices. Something might have to go. Or you might have to find someone else to do that for you. Right?
Or is it something you think you should do, or something that you want to do with integrity? I mean, sometimes you put something down because you think you should do it, but not really. It's one of those things.
It really is one of those things, and that becomes the dialogue you have to have with yourself. That's why this isn't going to be handled instantly. You're going to have to schedule it all. I mean, so let's back up one stage. Here's my recommendation. When you walk out of here, I would go to your calendar and schedule everything on your list. Schedule it all. I don't care if it doubles or triples and it repeats itself and it's all smashed up. Just get it in there. Then start to drag and drop and move the puzzle pieces around. And you'll see how it all articulates itself. Then from there, you'll really see what doesn't work. Then you have to make some calls. It's either not getting done, or someone else is going to have to do it. Trust me, it's all workable. It just might be about how your business is scaled. For a small business owner who's just by yourself, it becomes hard at a certain point because you're doing everything. And then you start to look at how can I alter my business so I have other people helping me out in different areas. And that financially it works. For me, it just has to work for all involved, right? But this is the strategy. So where you're at isn't bad. Where you're at is a function of growing a business. We will all hit that point. I hit that point at the end of last year, beginning of this year. You're going to hit that point at some point. You're going to hit that point at some point. Kind of makes sense. Not proper English, but we'll go with it. Does that make sense? All right, let's keep rolling on this. Any other questions? I don't want to move forward unless you got all the questions answered. So any other questions? Yeah.
Mark, it kind of follows from our conversation with us last year. It's really about integrity.
Mm-hmm.
I had asked it last year and kind of getting a grip on it. But so, for example, I'll just give the example. It's surfing for me. You can't just do it whenever you want. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You do it when there is. So what I was, as I asked vaguely last year, but I get better ideas. So, for example, I have like 5 days of the week in the morning that I have a 3-hour gap. I actually have other things that are in there, but of course, if that one pops up, am I really missing out on my integrity by saying, okay, I put that one? I mean, it doesn't always work that way, but when there is, that one pops into that 3-hour gap.
Sure.
But still, you're still integrity with your calendar, yes?
Yeah. Let me just say it in like a little snapshot. What he's saying is he wants to surf in the mornings, and if the waves are good, he'll do that. If the waves are crappy, not doing that. So what he wants is, can he have an arrangement, an agreement with himself that the things that are scheduled might be moved if the surf is good. If the surf is not good, they'll stay where they are. If the surf is good, they're going to get moved to this other place. If that's your agreement, absolutely. It's workable. You've thought it out. It's a system. Can you hear there's a system? It's not emotional. In the moment, there's some emotion, but he's thought out, listen, when this emotion hits, here's what I'm going to choose to do. And this is what's workable. It keeps the frame and the integrity intact. It works. Is there any negative impact to you doing that?
No.
Yeah, I don't see one from my perspective either. So there's your answer. There's no fallout. You've thought it through. It's a system. Make sense? But if you start doing that with everything, then you're really lacking some integrity. Now your emotions is kicking your butt.
Yeah, so I can only save it for that one. That's like the
Yeah, that's your little grace period.
Yeah, that's the only one that I let that.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. Yes.
I have a question.
Nice and loud.
I know you said that something about this earlier, like, but like, I don't mind like scheduling 1 week in a month to just go away. But then, like, on your schedule, would you also like schedule like if you want to take 3 weeks a year off? I mean, do you go ahead and put that out there?
Yes. Yeah, good question. How many of you, I didn't make this very clear. I'm glad you brought this up. So when we were talking earlier about reoccurring things, right? Reoccurring things. When you reoccur things, you want to reoccur for the year. Your schedule should be for the year. So everyone should schedule their vacation time for the year. You should schedule your massages, how long? For the year. Your facials, for the year. Your personal training, for the year. Your finances, for the year. Great question. I didn't make that clear earlier. Your schedule, you guys should see your faces right now. You're like, holy crap. Really, that's what consistency looks like. You try to do your schedule for a month and then redo it, doesn't work. That's not workable. You want to create your calendar for the year. Why do we want to do that again? Habit consistency. Yes, absolutely. Makes a huge difference. Because you can count on it. You know what's going to happen. Yeah.
So would you do this like on a Google Calendar? Would you do it on your cell phone? Like, what is a recommendation?
Yeah, you want to do it on a computer.
Okay.
You know, if it syncs with your phone, awesome. I don't personally recommend that you run your life by looking at your phone calendar. It's too small. You can't get a sense of things. Nowadays with tablets, it works great because you can see a week at a glance. It really helps to see the week so you can get a sense of what's going on. You can be present to the big picture. You follow? When you run a calendar off like a, what is that, 4x3? How's that going to work? Y'all have busy lives. That ain't going to fit. That's a breakdown waiting to happen. It then makes your calendar like a good idea versus a calendar. It's like, this is my like good idea list of things I could do today. We'll see what happens though. It's not functional. Now, just be honest. How many of you resist what I just said? Resist. How many of you actually resist what I just said? Yeah, that's great. I want you to resist it. Why? Because 5% of the money is made, 95% of the money is made by 5% of the people. So some of you aren't going to be willing to do it. No problem. You may not hit your goals. You may not have the life you want. That's your choice. Just being honest, right? That's your choice. If you want your goals, and your goals are big enough, it might require you to change some habits or change some things you may not love. That's just the truth. That's just the ugly truth. But the good news is you'll get your goals and you'll be happy. Steph, yeah?
So do you use Google Calendars or which program do you use?
I use Microsoft Outlook because I've just used it for eons. Google Calendars is almost identical.
Except that it gives you ads and it distracts you.
I didn't know that.
And I hate it. So that's why I like Outlook, because it's purely just, it's all business. But Google Calendar,
Yours doesn't have that?
mine doesn't have that.
What did you say?
It
So,
gives you recommendations for things.
yeah.
It's your email.
It does. She's right, it does, but.
Okay.
It's just very messy.
Yeah, what she's saying is Google Calendars has, in her, from her version, is showing her ads and other things. And it's distracting and it's messy and not clean. So here's the point. Whatever system you want to use that's digital is great. How many of you use paper calendars?
In addition to.
Wow. Shit.
No, let me explain what I have.
Okay, explain.
No, my calendar is in Outlook.
Uh-huh.
Everything is organized. It's color-coded. Every day I have my diary for the day that I open, and I handwrite my things on there, and I handwrite my tasks, and I have that in front of me, and as I do them, I check it off. But I have my calendar, everything, vacations, it's all in there. So
Good.
every day I go, I'm in Outlook, and I can see the week, I can see the month, I know what's going on in the day, but having
That
it
works.
in front of me is important because I like to tackle as well as the other.
Yeah.
I think that's how it works for me.
Totally works what she's saying. Here's why that works. She's used digital to reoccur everything and to make it clean and organized. So that's the system, right? That's the system. Now, she has a preference about handwriting and checking off, which I think is great. So she prints it.
Just for the day.
Yeah, no, oh, sorry, you didn't print it. You're handwriting, you're transposing it.
Handwrite just for the day.
Totally works. Yeah, as I say, that's what I used to do. In my last company, it required me to be away from my computer. So every morning I'd get in the office, hit print, and there's a task bar on it, and I just stick it on my door of my office, and check, note, and it was right in front of me. But in the background is a digital calendar that manages everything. So totally works. So how many of you are resistant to using just digital? If you use digital and print, no problem. You're good to go. How many of you are using just a written calendar? Anyone else? Just 2 people? So you're an attorney, so that a lot of attorneys use written as well because of the court calendar and things constantly moving.
I love carrying this and opening it.
Yeah. So here's the only challenge. Okay. So here's my little rant. I'm on my soapbox now. Okay, soapbox. So here's the rant. The biggest challenge I run into with paper calendars is this: is if you were to schedule all the things that we wrote down and actually get a fully functional calendar, there's generally 20, 30 things in a day. 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. It starts to become a massive project, rewriting all your tasks. So human beings usually aren't very consistent like that. We end up losing things fall off, the calendar starts to change, next thing you know, it dissolved, it unraveled itself. So if you're going to use paper, you have to be very disciplined and go schedule everything out. It's a lot of handwriting, but if you're willing to do it, it can function. In a business like yours, no.
I'm working on that.
Don't work on it, just switch. The work should be switching, because the rest is all emotion. It's all emotion. You can see it on her face. It's an emotional conversation.
I know, because I started putting it on this is what I put on.
Okay.
And I'm like, I can't find it.
Yeah, it's not going to work inside of that.
Yeah.
So let's bring up one other conversation. This isn't toward anyone specific. This is something that I generally notice in the conversation at some point in the evening. This is for business owners, period. A lot of business owners, with calendaring, your calendar doesn't function amazingly. You know, you don't love it. It doesn't function well. There's things missing. And it gives you a sense of drama. There's some drama occurring in your business. How many of you have noticed there's a little drama in the business? Well, let's pretend. Let's do this again. A little exercise. How many there's a little drama in your business from time to time around your calendaring? Yeah, cool. Do you know that business owners like drama? Yeah. The people who say they hate drama are always holding 2 tickets to the play. So funny to me. So I hate drama, really. It's in my hand. Why do business owners tend to like drama?
Well, I like it so I can fix it.
Yep. We've had this conversation before. Yeah?
Keep on your toes.
Yeah. You all like the rush. You now have receptors in your brain that love the rush and are expecting the rush, just like your caffeine rush. And business owners, by definition, are generally problem solvers. So here's what happens after this conversation tonight. You're going to go home. You're going to design the most kick-butt schedule ever. You're going to implement it. You're going to have a lot of balance. Life's going to be just working well. And life's going to get a little mundane because it's running so smooth. It's like easy. And then something's going to go off your head and be like, oh, it's mundane. Where's my drama fix? I need it. And you're going to start causing chaos. And you're going to stop following your calendar or start changing things around so that you can get your fix. Literally, I've coached thousands of companies. This is true. It's true for me too. I know. I'm addicted to it as well. So it's something to manage. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Your business will become so consistent, you'll be bored to tears. And you'll stick your finger in it, start messing with it and poking at it so that you can start to get a rush again. Okay? What are you seeing from this? Yeah.
Do you have a rush replacement?
I do. I actually do. We're going to talk about it more next month because next month is more about designing your life and motivations. Okay. So when you start to put things in place that's a positive motivator and a positive outlet for that creativity and that energy, you're doing it consciously. Again, a lot of this is about consciousness. Okay. I have a very high key around problem solving. That's why I'm a business coach. So if I'm a problem solver, and I used to do this in my business all the time, I took my creative energy and moved it toward retiring. How can I retire faster and easier? How can I work less hours and make more money? So you start to channel it consciously versus letting the unconscious conversation run you. Okay? We're way off topic. We got to get this thing back. Let's talk about to-do lists. So we've talked about the mental side. We've talked about the physical side of calendaring. Okay, so let's move on. If you want, turn to the next page on your handout. We'll go over this in a second, but you're going to need to look at this in a sec, all right? So let's talk about calendaring. So what's the purpose of a to-do list? It's the back side of that one. What's the purpose of a to-do list? What's that? To do it? Okay. Yeah, we'll keep looking. No, really. What is it?
I put it down just so I don't have to store it in my head.
Yeah, it's a capture tool. Really good. Note that one, a capture tool. What else? What's another purpose of a to-do list? Yeah? Help you prepare your schedule? Good. All right. What's that? Prioritize tasks, okay.
For my to-do list, I have priorities, so 70% of my actions every day are income producing. So when I have a lull, like an hour or two, that's where I hit the to-do list. So I'm constantly on a producing income-producing activities.
Good.
So, I came in late, so I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're good. We'll pick on you later.
What I do for a living is I actually buy businesses, fix them, flip them.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of flipping houses, I flip businesses.
Sure.
I use a paper calendar all the time, but I digitize it into my phone for appointments, so it constantly reminds me.
Good.
I'm sorry I came in late.
You're good.
So that's what it is.
Okay, good. I love it. It's great. What else? What else is a to-do list for you? Yeah?
Wish list?
It's a wish list. Okay, good. So, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It feels really good when you're checking things off, too.
Doesn't it?
Feeling of accomplishment.
So here's what a to-do list is. Your to-do list is a not doing now list. Your to-do list is a list of things that you're not doing. Now, let's be really clear. I'm serious. I'm not joking around. Your to-do list is a list of things that you are not doing.
You mean this minute?
That you're not doing. Your list of things that you are doing is your calendar. If it's in the calendar, you're doing it. There's a day and a time assigned to it. Your to-do list is, well, you said, it's a holding facility. It's a not doing right now list. Doing at some point list. Doing when it gets calendared list. Okay? You're a human being. You're going to generate things to do by default. You're hardwired for that task. You die, you will have a to-do list that's incomplete.
Would you give some examples? I'm not clear.
Of what?
To-do list of things
What's something that you need to do?
Vacuum.
Okay. Are you committed to doing that?
Well, it's on my list to put on my calendar.
Good.
So I'm not sure, I don't understand what we're supposed to do. I guess I'm not clear.
We're not there yet.
Housework,
Oh, I
you
thought
would
you
be
were.
vacuuming, laundry, cleaning the kitchen, and that's a list of to-do, but it's during that time you blocked off for housework.
Right, so it wouldn't be on the to-do list. It's on the calendar.
But it's on your to-do list, because once you do housework, you gotta have your list of things to do,
Really?
don't you?
Not really. It could just be housework. You can have a checklist of this is my house list. That's if it's calendared, it's handled. It's managed.
So it's a checklist.
That's the thing. You gotta listen. If it's calendared, it's no longer on your to-do list. Your to-do list is generally a place you write things down so you don't forget them, so that you can get to actually doing them. If something's on your you're perfect. When something's on your to-do list, and that thing is actually calendared, it's being managed. So we're not talking about those items. We're talking about the items like, oh man, I need to change my website. I really want this like doohickey thing on there. Put that on my to-do list. It's things that you want to eventually do. Yeah?
Now, things like housekeeping and laundry, isn't it more efficient just to have a housekeeper come in and take care of that?
In my opinion, it is, but we're not looking at...
It's a lot more valuable.
Yeah.
Even your relaxation time is more valuable, just to pay an extra $100 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the things that we no, it's great. It's one of the things that we talked about a little while ago is there might be some things on your to-do list or on your calendar that are not the best use of your time, right? That you might start to notice, like, I should have someone else do some of these things, so it frees me up. That's one of the things that it's your job to start to notice now. But, so, good point. Let's reel it back in just to the to-do list, though. So let's just get clear on what it is and what it's not. Your to-do list is a list of things that you're not committed to doing yet. When you get committed to it, you'll know because you'll move it from the to-do list onto the actual calendar, which is now you're committed. There's a day and time assigned to it. Does that make sense? Anyone have questions? You good? Okay.
Well, also a to-do list, like in my business, you're going to get phone calls through the day, so I'll put so-and-so's name to-do list, but then that would transfer to the calendar if I have call time.
Yes, exactly.
So that I don't forget on it, it has to go into the to-do list.
All right, and that's where this conversation evolves to now, is once we're clear on what a to-do list is and what it's not, then what you're going to start to notice is there's many things that you might write down. This is where her question was coming from, her point of clarity was coming from, is there's a lot of things that will occur on a to-do list that correlate to something that's calendared. So let's say I want to do this thing on my website, right? I want to add this doohickey to my website. When am I going to do it? Well, that's marketing, right? Your website kind of falls under the marketing section of life. So when my calendar says, Aaron, you're supposed to do marketing for the next 3 hours, I can look at my to-do list and be like, okay, well, is there anything on here that's marketing really? The doohickey on the website. Call my lady, hey, can we do this thingy? Great, do it. So there's a lot of things on your to-do list that will get addressed on your calendar. Is that making this a little bit more clear? Okay. Any questions? Yes.
I was thinking that when you were saying it's things that you're not doing, but everything else is scheduled. So if I get an invitation to come to a seminar that was not a part of my time-blocked schedule, then that would be something on my to-do list that I might say, it might be work on my business and I have to make it fit.
Yeah.
But if I get an invitation to a party and I have to pick up a bottle of wine or whatever, that might be on my to-do list.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Does that make sense at all?
I'm totally lost.
As long as she got it.
As long as she got it. It's a 2-hour drive from here.
Sure. Yes, Stephanie.
Where does driving fall into this? So say, you're going to the gym, you plan 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. Do you write in the drive time too?
You can. Me personally, again, you have to figure this out how you're wired. There's most of my tasks, I build it into the actual list. So if I'm going to, say, meet someone, I will build in my drive time into that whole appointment. I know that about myself, and I'm just hardwired for that thinking. I know other of my clients, it's not that case. They actually need to schedule, okay, it's going to take me 30 minutes, schedule 30 minutes. Okay, then the appointment is going to be X. Does that make sense? Yeah, so it's really about what's workable for you. So what I'm saying isn't the truth. This is just a way that I found that works really well for a lot of people. So if some of this doesn't resonate with you, just take the part that does. Steps, okay? Steps. You got to find out what works. There's a lot of different information out there on scheduling. This is just a way that I found that works for a lot of people. So any other questions on scheduling, tasks? All right. You should see your faces. Oh, yep.
So when something comes up that messes with the schedule, and it's something that, like, a once in a few year opportunity, so how do you tweak things to...
You just got to move stuff around. We were talking about earlier, you just have to move stuff around. I mean, your schedule's not in stone. There's going to be things you're going to move. What we're trying to do, though, is have our schedule be as consistent as humanly possible. That's what we want. More consistency, the more workability, the more effectiveness. So, like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity comes up, yeah. Big travel comes up, yeah, move it. Move your stuff around. You can do that. You have that power. And you have the understanding that, okay, for this to work, I'm going to have to move things here, here, and here. That way everything gets done, and I can still do my trip. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's part of it. Yeah, Renee.
One of the things that I've noticed, and it tends to be kind of an excuse or a thing that my clients will bring up prior to them having actually worked all this out, is that when I really started to be in integrity and rigorous with scheduling, all those things that just would come up stopped coming up, because things were mapped out in this time and space structure, and it almost like it communicated to the rest of the universe, don't have chaos show up, and literally stop showing up. And that actually can occur, but when there's space and unscheduled stuff, that's when the mischief would show up.
Right. Absolutely. So this came up actually in last year's seminar when we did this last time, is people ask me, well, don't you have like emergencies that show up? No, I don't have time for emergencies. Why would they show up for me? They show up for you guys. I don't have the time for it, so someone else will deal with my emergency. I don't have them. You ask my girlfriend, when was the last time I had an emergency? I've never had one. Yeah, in the 8 months we've been together, I don't have them. I don't believe in them. I don't have time for them. They go visit someone else.
Where do you have kids?
Well, I have duct tape and zip ties. I'm good. So really, what Renee's saying has a tremendous amount of weight. You want to give this some real thought. When a lot of you, let me back up a stage. We live in a vacuum, okay? When there's empty space, life fills it for you. When you have a day off, you have nothing planned, notice how busy you got. We live in a vacuum. We really do. So when you schedule your life in your calendar, you will literally, like Renee's saying, you'll have less of that interruption. The noise will just start to fade off, and it's very faint. A little here, a little there, a little sprinkle. There's not much. Because you've trained people, you've trained your physical environment and the world around you that this is what works for you. And you'll notice that things will start interacting with you differently. You get that? It's really huge. Thanks for putting that in. That was great. All right, so we need to do the intention now. So who would be willing to read the intention? Yes, please.
That you understand how to be more organized, efficient, and productive through improving your relationship to scheduling and task management.
Thank you. Did we do that? Good work. Really great. Now I really want to hear, what did you all get out of the work we did? What did you see? Yeah.
I have a high relationship feeling IQ. I'm driven often by feeling. And so what I'm getting from this is you flip feeling and put that into scheduling and task management to have it work for you. So now you fall in love with scheduling and task management, then you flip the feeling.
Yeah. So you're still getting your feeling. You're getting it consciously versus reactively or haphazardly. And you'll watch your effectiveness go up because you'll be excited to go do it. Brilliant. Glad you got that. Is huge. You guys hear what he said? It's huge. Yeah, can you just turn and tell them? You said it better than I'm going to say it.
What did I say?
Don't worry about it. Just say it again in your own words. But
So for me personally, a lot of what drives me is feeling good for the moment. I have a high people IQ. And so for me, going with the flow is what I like, how I like to exist. So here for me is flipping feeling to have a new relationship with scheduling and task management such that I fall in love with my scheduling and task management. So then the contribution is now I'm excited about scheduling and task management because I'm in love and I'm in feeling. Feeling is important.
Yeah.
Flipping it.
And that's what's so brilliant, right? Like, you all can really have your feelings and have more positive-based feelings because you create a calendar and a way of managing your tasks that actually supports what you said you wanted to feel. It was great. Good. What else? Yeah.
The aha moment that I'm going to take away from this mostly is when you said that my schedule is my boss.
Yeah.
Because I actually was a pretty good employee, but I am a terrible self-starter. So that puts it into a lot more context that I won't rebel against. Because I'll rebel against my own schedule. You know, I hate it. Schedule all day long. But I'm a very good worker for other people.
Yeah.
So the schedule is my boss. I can keep some integrity in that.
It's huge. It's a great takeaway for all of us. It's a really great takeaway. When you start to relate to your calendar, like, it's going to tell you what to do, and you know you consciously designed it to give you maximum fun, maximum rest, maximum money. You'll be very excited to be the employee of that company. Great work. It's really great. Anyone else? Yeah.
What I'm finally reconciling here is because this is very structured, and I tend to be more spontaneous, and that's more comfortable. But what I'm learning is that you can actually build that into the schedule and drag and drop things around, like you said, and you can consciously allow for spontaneity by maybe putting a little slack time in there that allows for, move stuff around. And that's a little bit more comfortable for me.
Yeah. And you can also schedule off time when you're not calendar. Like, most of my weekend isn't calendared. Only those few critical tasks, my hiking, my yoga, date night, that's it. The rest of it is open so that I can be emotional based and do whatever I feel like doing. Right? So it's thinking, how can I honor myself and create a schedule that really honors how I'm wired? Because we're all wired differently, so I can't tell you how to do that. Just honor how you're wired. Make sense? All right, great. Absolutely. Amen to that. I mean, none of that. All right, so I want to talk about what we're covering next month. Next month is on motivation, a life by design. Motivation, motivation, motivation. So for a lot of business owners, you might be one of them, we'll see. For a lot of business owners, we get stopped as we're growing our business. There's things that confront us. We get stopped at certain times. Having authentic motivation in place makes a tremendous difference. We're all going to get stopped as our businesses grow, yes? Some of you might be stopped now. Some of you might get stopped in the future. It's generally something that will happen as we hit different rungs of the ladder as our business expands. So what we're doing is we're going to look at every single area of your life. We're going to go through 7 different areas, and we're going to start extracting what's motivating you in every single area of your life. So you're crystal clear on not just ego-based motivation. I mean heartfelt motivation, something that has real integrity to you. And we're going to put those pieces of motivation in place so that it actually funds your business. It actually sources your business. One of the things that increase our effectiveness as business owners is we're driven. We want something, and we're emotionally engaged in getting it. Yes? That emotional engagement's motivation. You're motivated to get it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put motivation from 7 different areas of your life in place. So that when you wake up in the morning, you're actually given by authentic motivation. It's actually giving you being. That is the most sustainable kind of motivation we can do. It produces really incredible results.